We wanted to find out how CSUN students felt about the Adrian Peterson case and what they felt was acceptable punishment. We went around campus to get interviews, starting with CSUN senior John Salas.
So have you heard about the Adrian Peterson child abuse scandal?
Fortunately, I have. He ruined my fantasy league. I'm 0-8 so far, so yeah, fortunately.
All right. So how do you feel about physical punishment for children?
I mean, for me, I was spanked as a kid, but it was like I did something bad and I just got hit once, so it wasn't anything too crazy. But I mean, parents, it varies. So I mean, if a parent sees their kid doing something bad, keep it in the house, hit them once, a little spank. Nothing's gonna harm them, make them go tell someone, come with scars. But yeah, I mean, if it's appropriate where it's not hurting the kid, then yeah.
I believe child rearing should be just in the house. Everything should be kind of taken back home. So for instance, when I was younger, I was spanked as a kid, and I'm not saying that affected how I act right now, but if you have a kid and they constantly aren't listening to you, what is a parent supposed to do? If the same tactics aren't working, do they hit the child? It's up to them.
Well, I do think that, brutally hitting a kid, it's, not right. But I do feel like sometimes kids need to be spanked just because they don't listen, and just talking to them, sometimes it's not, they don't respond to that. So maybe a little spank, it's fine. But I mean, other than that, I don't think they should go further than that. Yeah.
I would like to believe not. I have both father and aunt who are very big on psychology, and my aunt is very against all spanking and disciplining. I don't know how I would go about it myself, but I'm not against, for your own child, the act of spanking, not when they're crying and repeating it, but not against spanking using the hand. I am full on against paddling or anything that would leave a mark or anything like that, and I don't believe in the regular usage of it, but I don't hold it as a bad idea to spank your own kid if nothing else is working.
What do you think is an appropriate amount of physical punishment for children?
If you leave a bruise, then maybe you went a little too far. But as far as if you can do it in a, I guess first of all, I guess if you can do it in a way where you don't involve physical abuse or anything like that, it's more like a punishment for I guess the behavior, not for the child in itself. If you could correct that, that's fine. There's different cultures. Like the way I grew up was one spank, all right, you get the point. I got the point. So I grew up with that. So
Crossing the line is actually beating them up, knocking them out, giving them bruises, actually harming the child, where it's just oh, I don't want to be around them. Kind of anything that will put physical harm in danger, emotionally state, physical state, beating up, knock them out.
It's hard because it'd be just easier to eliminate it altogether, but I do understand the usage of it, and I do think it can work. It has to be your palm. You cannot use an object. I think paddling should be full on out at this point. And I really dislike parents who spank their kids who are just crying and trying to express something that they can't express because they're just a little kid and they're just spanking them. I think, honestly, your kid's having a full-on temper tantrum of some sort, and you can't use any other method. That a spank is not something that I personally would judge them for, and sometimes I do believe it can work.
You're crossing the line if the kid is showing up the next day with a limp, he has visible lacerations that are obviously painful. You don't want to hurt the kid to the point where he can't get through his daily routine. Obviously a simple little, I know.
I think if you're gonna hit a kid, just a spank, honestly. Other than that, anything else, it's too much.
Do you think your culture is different than some of your other classmates? How do you see any differences?
Yes, because I mean, at least I'm not being racist, but at least from my own experience, I see that people that are white, they tend to be they're very lenient on their kids when it comes to punishment. They do it all verbal, you can't do that, Tyler, or go over there, Tyler, 5 minutes. And the kids are very they grow up like assholes, at least from what I've noticed. And Hispanic culture, at least from my background, it's he'll whoop your ass. Your dad will whoop your ass. You talk to your mom, at least I talked to my mom, I called her a bitch once, and then my dad grabbed me and he slammed me against the wall. And that, I learned my lessons.
Yes, I do. especially with this generation right now, and I feel like child abuse is such a prevalent topic in this age that when people see a kid getting hit, they immediately say child abuse. They immediately want to call the police. And I don't know if it's our culture and what we're seeing on TV or what the media portrays, but from each generation, especially us millennials, I think we're going to stop hitting our kids less just because of that.
Mm-hmm. Were you disciplined physically at all as a child?
A little bit of spanking. I watched older siblings and the consequences that they got and did not get it as bad as my older brothers. I don't know how much had to do with me being a girl or because I watched and learned and tried to be good. Yeah, looking back on it, probably some of it was unfair, but it did not harm me in a way that, got me thinking back for years about it.